Rob Halligan, I'm sure, is not going to be watching on here. He is going to be live doing his thing there on YouTube, and hopefully we can make that work here. But good evening, Dawn. Good evening, Mark. He's got a hello with lots of O's at the end there. Evening, Lara. Evening, Tom and Ruth and Danielle. Dave and Ida as well. Is it still sunny in Wales? We had a little bit this afternoon. We had quite a lot of rain as well. Danielle is saying hi to Robert. Oh, they're all saying hello, Rob. Aren't they a friendly bunch, you see? Evening, Thomas. We are obviously an hour earlier, and it wasn't until this afternoon that I thought, oh, wouldn't this be a really cool thing to do? So I gave Rob a little tinkle and said, would he mind if we actually did this? So theoretically, I can see, is things changing on that screen, AC? Set up in there, and it looks like Rob is getting himself ready to go live there. So if you don't know Rob, I suggest you go and have a little look, go and check him out. Can I hear me on his feed? That is getting super weird now. So Rob is listening to me on his feed, and we're on this feed, and it's, well, there you go.
Actually, we've got two screens up there. Hi everybody, we're just finalising a few technical things, but we're going to be okay. It's all going to be fine. I can see Darren, I've got the sound turned down, and I can see my friend Darren talking away, and he's like, you know, it's quite nice with the sound turned down. Hang on just a second. There we go, we're here, and I think it's 7 o'clock, and we're all set. Welcome to my upper room. This is the studio in my house called the sewing room, and gonna have some fun tonight. And I don't know who's here, but it's by the way, that Gretsch looks like a really nice guitar. Yes, it's a very nice guitar. All these comments I'm getting on YouTube, I can see the YouTube ones, I can't see the Facebook ones very well, so anyway, we're going to have a great time tonight, and it's been a little while since I did a proper gig. It was a couple of weeks ago that I did a gig on here, and it went great, so just thought we'd do another one, and this one is a little bit different. This is called The Songs That Made Me, and this is about the writers, and rather than the music styles, this is really about the songs that I used to listen to, the songs that I've listened to over the last 25 years, and how they've kind of inspired me to write songs. So I'm going to sing a couple of songs and then we'll get into it, okay? Here we go. 1977. You can learn to rock and be a star, but where will you go when the music's gone? God gave rock and roll to you, gave rock and roll to you, put it in the soul of everyone. God gave rock and roll to you, gave rock and roll to you, put it in the soul of everyone. Well, if you love the sound, then don't forget the source. You can turn around and you can change your course. When it never turns too late, change your mind. You can love the rock and let him free your soul. You can let the old man take his toll. It's never too late to change your mind. Rock and roll to you, put it in the soul of everyone. I want people to know that he saved my soul, and I still like to listen to the radio. They say the rock and roll is gonna give you one more chance. Feels so good, I wanna get up and dance. I know what's right, I know what's wrong. Don't try to confuse it. All I'm really trying to say is why I should should the devil have all the good music? There's nothing wrong with what I say. Jesus is the rock and he rolled my blues away. They say they cut my hair, it's driving me insane. I grow it out long to make room for my brain. Sometimes people don't understand what's a good boy doing in a rock and roll band. I know what's right, I know what's wrong, I don't try and confuse it. If you got a scripture, show it to my face. It's why should the devil have all the good music? There's nothing wrong with what I say. Jesus is a rock and he rolled my blues away. I'm not knocking those hymns, just give me something with a beat. Hey, I'm not knocking those hymns, just give me something to move my feet. I don't like none of those funeral marches. I ain't dead yet. Here we go. Well, Jesus told the truth, Jesus told the way. There's one more thing that I'd like to say. They nailed him to a tree and they put him in the ground, but they should have known you can't keep a good man down. Nothing wrong with what I say. Jesus is the rock and he rolled my blues. Jesus is the rock and he rolled my blues. Jesus is the rock and he rolled my blues away. Bow. So there you go. Bit of who was that? That was Larry Norman. Larry Norman, fantastic Larry Norman. And the one before that was Petra, 1977. 1977. I was dressed up as a Union Jack for the Queen's Jubilee. I was dressed up in crepe paper. Oh, I look cute. My daughter's here doing stuff to make sure this all works. And she's going to be doing a fabulous job. So she's kind of looking at comments as well on the various streams that's going, and yeah, so if you say something we might actually see it and respond. Anyway, so what I thought I'd do, like I say, you know, I've been doing these gigs over the last year, and I've been talking a lot about influences, musical influences mainly, and what I thought I'd do a bit tonight was talk not so much about the musical influences, but maybe some of the lyrical and the writing influences, particularly since I became a Christian. 1986, something happened in 1986 that completely changed my life. I'd been living on the streets. I was 16 years old, and I rocked up in Northampton and bumped into some Christians who were giving out food, and it was life-changing, and it's been the start of a journey that I've been on ever since. Certainly not completed, and so, you know, there are obviously musical styles, but there are things that you write about. It was interesting because I used to be into music. We had a band at school that wasn't very good. We were called the Freak Brothers. I know, fantastic name. But so when I came into the church, you know, we were singing on Sundays, singing throughout the week and everything. It was great opportunities to sort of hone my skills as a busker, really, and that was fine. The church I was in wasn't really into a lot of, I don't know, the musical kind of taste of what we were into at the time was pretty limited. And so it was really nice when I went into, I discovered a little bookshop in town, and I picked up, out of a bargain bucket for 50p, I picked up a CD or a tape by a band called Triumph. They're a Scottish band called Triumph. Fantastic. And I picked it up because, you know, these guys were wearing leather jackets and t-shirts and jeans. They looked like the Ramones, which is a band I was so into. And I put it, you know, listened to this music, and I thought it was great. There is life out there. There is musical life out there. And then probably, I guess, 1987 it must have been. There was a big I think Billy Graham had come over, and he was doing a lot of a lot of big events. And we went to an event. Me and a friend of mine went to this event, and it was a video link, so Billy Graham wasn't there. But and I don't remember a thing about it. I honestly don't remember a thing about it. But outside, at the end in the foyer, there was a little Christian bookshop. Had set up a table there, and they were selling tapes and CDs. So me and my mate Keith, we had absolutely no idea what we were looking for. He picked up a tape, and I picked up a tape, and we went away. And the tape that I picked up was called Songs for the Shepherd, and it was by Keith Green. And light bulb moment. This was the first song from that album. Sunset, silver lining round the clouds. Birds fly, singing, making such a joyful sound. Thoughts of heaven somehow seem to fill my mind, but I can't even imagine what it is I'm gonna find. Reaching for the sky, grasslands and desert, your creation fills my eyes. Thank you, Jesus, for your beauty is just a taste of all your glory I see when I pass through those gates. Oh, I can't wait to get to heaven. In 6 days you created everything, but you've been working on heaven 2,000 years. Oh, I can't wait to get to heaven. You wipe away all my tears. In 6 days you created everything, but you've been working on heaven. Oh, you've been working on heaven. Holy Spirit, you've been working on heaven 2,000 years. And so Keith Green, he comes along into my life, and it's funny because throughout my life we've had I grew up in the 80s. That was my musical kind of decade, except the fact that I was into kind of 50s rock and roll, and so I always seem to miss the boat with music. I'm always in the slightly wrong era. So I get into Keith Green in 1988, and only to find out that Keith Green was killed a few years earlier in a plane crash. But I started discovering more and more of his music. I bought the Ministry Years, which had absolutely fantastic song on it, the Prodigal Son Suite. If you've ever heard the Prodigal Son Suite, it's absolutely brilliant. Lyrically and musically, it is incredible. But Keith's music had something else about it. It was full of passion and honesty, and I realised that in itself carried so much power. That in itself carried, it wasn't always polished. It was, if you ever saw Keith Green live, it was all over the place. But there was a passion about it and an energy. and an honesty which kind of grabs people when they hear it, and it grabbed me, you know. And I also liked the fact that a lot of his songs, they told a story and they painted pictures. You know, it's very easy to write a song that is it's just a list of things and it's the right things to say, but it doesn't leave you feeling anything. It doesn't leave you with an image in your mind. And these songs that I was hearing now started to do that. They started to paint these incredible pictures, like, I can't wait to get to heaven. What's it going to be? You know, I've been working on heaven 2,000 years. But there was one song that did that so powerfully, and it was this song, and absolutely beautiful song. Like a foolish dreamer trying to build a highway to the sky, all my hopes will come tumbling down, and I never knew just why, until today when you pulled away the clouds that hung like curtains on my eyes. I've been blind all these wasted years, and I thought I was so wise. Then you took me by surprise, like waking up from the longest dream. How real it seems, until your love broke through. I was lost in a fantasy that blinded me, until your love broke through. All my life I've been searching for that crazy missing part. With one touch, you just rolled away the stone that held my heart. And now I see that the answer was as easy as just asking you in. I am so sure I could never doubt your gentle touch again. It's like the power of the wind. Like waking up from the longest dream. How real it seems, until your love broke through. I was lost in a fantasy that blinded me, until your love broke through. Like waking up from the longest dream. How real it seems, until your love broke through. Until your love broke through. And it was a really, really beautiful, you know, a beautiful song, written by Keith Green and a guy called Randy Stonehill. Now, Randy Stonehill, I'd heard of Randy Stonehill, and I read the book, the No Compromise, the life story of Keith Green, which had another one of those profound moments reading life stories of people like that. You know, you read of heroes of the faith, and you have these categories of people like, I don't know, John Wesley and people like that, and for me, it was an eye-opener to realise that there were people still around today who are making huge impacts in people's lives and living these radical lives and changing the world in various ways. And you know, and you pick up on all these different people through reading about them. And I read about Randy Stonehill, and I read the story. Randy, if you ever get a chance to see Randy Stonehill play live, he tells this wonderful story about how Your Love broke through, how it came together, and how they wrote it. But in 2006, Randy Stonehill came over to the UK to do a tour, a very small tour, and he was playing at Greenbelt. And a friend of mine, Mike Rimmer, decided that it would be a really good idea, and he could get me some exposure if we booked Randy Stonehill to play a little gig up in the Midlands, and I would be the opening act, and therefore the huge numbers of people that would come to see Randy Stonehill would then come and see me as well. And it was a really interesting evening, because it was all a little bit of a disaster in various ways. Brilliant gig. Randy was fantastic. We were using my PA for the concert, and I, because of various things that happened, I was given the job of looking after Randy after the gig, and I had to take him back to his hotel. And so we had to hang around for us to pack down the PA and then put it into the car, and we did all that, and it was really late in the evening, and it had been raining. We were just about to drive off, and we realised that we've got a puncture, so we have to unload everything and repair the puncture and all of this kind of stuff. And by this time it's 11:30 at night, and I'm thinking, Randy Stonehill has just flown in from LA that morning. He is going to be absolutely knackered, so I need to get him back. And so I said, I'll get you back to the hotel. He said, man, hang on, I'm wired, I could do with some food. Now 11:30 at night in Coventry, especially in 2006, there wasn't really a lot, there wasn't much cuisine kind of available. So we eventually found this little back street kind of curry place where you're not sure what meat you're going to get, you know what I mean? And we ordered this stuff, and then Randy went into Cost Cutters over the road, and he got a couple of beers. And we went back to the hotel, and we sat in the hotel probably until about 2 a.m, just talking and sharing stories, sharing songs. He would ask me about my songs and about the church that I was part of and my life, and I told him some of my kind of story and where I'd been, and he was telling me stuff, and then halfway through this conversation he stopped and he says, hey man, you really remind me of Keith. And I'm like, what do you do with that? Here is one of my heroes telling me that I remind him of one of my other heroes. What? And I don't know where you go with that. It was just one of those moments that was incredibly precious, and one of those times that I'm so grateful for. And Randy is such a lovely guy, and he will probably not be watching this, but if you are, pal, it was that was very special. This is a Randy Stonehill song. Drifting wild like a ship, lost out on the ocean. Everyone's a homeless child. It's not hard to understand why we need a father's hand. There's a rainbow somewhere, you were born to be there. You're just running in circles till you reach out your hand to the King of Hearts. Pockets full of pain and fear, there's a load that's just no need to carry. Let it go and leave it here. Now there's no price that's left to pay. One more mile and one more day. There's a rainbow somewhere. You were born to be there. You're just running in circles till you reach out your hand to the King of Hearts. You can try to catch the wind. In the end, you're only wasting precious time. Life can always be so kind. You find the truth and follow. Go on, follow. Just follow. All alone, drifting wild like a ship, sloshed out on the ocean. Everyone's a homeless child. It's not hard to understand why we need the Father's hand. There's a rainbow somewhere. You were born to be there. You're just running in circles till you reach out your hand. Till you reach out your hand. Till you reach out your hand to the King of Hearts. It's another beautiful song. One of the things I've noticed actually going back through all of these songs is how high the guys in the 70s sang. It's all If you listen to The Prodigal Son, I mean, at the end you've got this, you've got there, it's a top C, okay? It goes, my son's returned in the hands of God. I can't keep it up. Anyway, so a lot of these songs I've kind of transposed, and I'm not trying to sound like whatever, it's just a celebration of them. So, but that song I didn't, because you can't, and it's... Anyway, so Randy's at Greenbelt, and I go to Greenbelt because I've got a gig there as well, and so we hook up again, and that's really lovely. But the guy who did the sound for us at the Randy Stonehill gig was a guy called Mick Farrer, and Mick was also he also worked with After the Fire. Now I'd not heard of After the Fire. I have to say, After the Fire were a new band to me, but he'd gone back to them and had talked to Pete Banks, who was the keyboard player in the band, and said that you've really got to check out this guy Rob, which was really lovely of him. And so at Greenbelt, I bump into Pete Banks, and again, not really knowing who he was, but having a great conversation with him. And I remember him saying to me, his parting shot was something like, you know, just be careful of that music industry. Just beware of that music industry. So that was kind of how we met, and that started a very, a long relationship that is still going now. And Pete asked me down to a gig to see them play, which I did, and then they invited me to go to a gig that they were doing in London, to be a guest artist on their show, which I did, and I went along, and it was lovely, and sang a couple of my songs, and that became a fairly regular thing. And slowly I started joining in with some of their songs. They asked me to guest vocal, and we started talking about whether or not I should join After the Fire. Andy Piercy had been the lead singer in their previous kind of life, and Andy had moved on, and so they were lead vocal less. And so it was like, okay, how do we do this? Because I've got this solo career that I'm trying to do, and I don't want this to detract from it. And so we kind of slowly worked it through, and eventually I did become, and I still am, after the fires, singer. And it's been such a wonderful journey, very different to the sort of music that I would normally play. But the friends that I've made, and the stories and the things that I've learned as well in working with Pete and John especially, but with the other guys in the band, with Tim, and it's just been so good. And so here's a bit of an After the Fire, an After the Fire favourite, I think. Like a laser burning right into my life. You know my weaknesses, you kill me like a knife. You're separating all the wrong things from the right. It's like a laser love. Your love is like an X-ray, there is nothing I can hide. Oh, 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 oh. You hold me to the light to see what is inside. It's all so clear when it's there in black and white. It's like a laser love. Now and then I think about my life, think about the way that it used to be. I was just a lonely boy standing in the Coca-Cola until he sheltered me, trying to find a way that I could do all the things I want, and sometimes it'd be free. Then you came along and told me how we really ought to be. Ooh, it's a laser love. Yeah, it's a laser love. It's like a laser love. And at this point in the song, it needs a synthesizer, because Pete would go beep, beep, It's good to see Dave Greenwood singing the OOOs on the chat up there. That's great. Beep, beep, pop, 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 pop. Like an optical illusion in a book. Oh, oh, oh. There's more than one way you can see when you look. When I saw it, all the world around me shook. It's like a laser. Love is like a thing, there is nothing I can hide. You know weaknesses, you call me like a knife. Like a laser love. Oh, come back, John. All is forgiven. There you go. John Howie, my first ATF exposure was Laser Love when the album was released, just before the Filey week. Nice one, John. And during our kind of discussions, me and Pete, we were talking about how some of the After the Fire songs might sound if I had recorded them, and so I did my own arrangement of one song that was on one of my first albums. paint your line across the sky, and I listen for the songs that you sing. Take me with you when you fly, silver bird, I wanna ride on your wing. Oh, carry me home, take me home. Every day is like a dream, every moment spent with you on my mind. I feel so long, or so it seems, am I losing all my senses of time? Oh, carry me home, take me home. Oh, carry me home, take me home. Me, I never thought I would feel this way. Oh no, not me. I miss you more than these words could say. Oh no, want you to know I'm missing you. Are you lonely on your own? How I wish that I could be there with you. I think about your favorite songs and all those funny little things that you do. Oh, carry me home, take me home. 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 So that was Carry Me Home, and so we're still at Greenbelt, and it's a couple of years later. We hadn't stayed there for 2 years, but I'd gone back and done. There was a little gig with After the Fire, but we were. It was really lovely. We were asked. This was 1988, I think, somewhere around that time. No, 1998. Sorry. No, I'm completely wrong. 2008. Let's get my 19s and my 2000s right. And Larry Norman had just died, and we were asked if we would take part in the memorial concert that they were putting on at Greenbelt, which was another huge, just a wonderful privilege to be asked to do that. And Larry was a colourful guy. Certainly not without controversy. But one song that I did know by Larry at that time was a song that we'd been singing. I don't know where I first heard it, and I probably didn't realise it was a Larry Norman song. But Pete and myself and Gareth Davies-Jones, who I toured with, decided that we would do this song as part of that. So this is a Larry Norman song, And one of the things that I love about this song actually is, and a lot of these songs that these guys were writing at the time, they were telling stories, and they were telling stories in an incredibly honest way as well. And I think in some ways it's what we've lost in our writing, particularly our Christian music writing, is the ability to tell honest stories. It's so easy to take a bunch of well-worn phrases, and we don't paint the pictures, and we don't connect in the same way. And I think that's a real shame, and I think it's something that we really could do with rediscovering. It's called Outlaw. There we go. Some say he was an outlaw and he roamed across the land with a band of unschooled ruffians and a few old fishermen. No one knew where he came from or exactly what he'd done, but they knew it must have been something bad that kept him on the run. Some say he was a poet and he'd stand upon a hill, and his voice could calm an angry crowd and make the waves stand still. And he spoke in many parables that few could understand, and the people sat for hours just to listen to this man. Some say he was a sorcerer, a man of mystery. He could walk upon the water, he could make a blind man see. And he conjured wine at weddings and did tricks with fish and bread. Spoke of being born again and raised people from the dead. Some say he was a sorcerer, a man of mystery. Now we've done that verse. Some say a politician, 'cause he spoke of being free. Can't forget the politicians. He was followed by the masses on the shores of Galilee. He spoke out against corruption and he bowed to no decree. And they feared his strength and power, and they nailed him to a tree. Some say he was the Son of God, a man above all men, who came to be our servant and to set us free from sin. And that's who I believe he is, 'cause that's what I believe. And I think we should be ready when it's time for us to leave. Oh, I think we should be ready, 'cause it's almost time to leave. So that was the Outlaw, and Gareth and I, we recorded a version of that. It was on this album that we did together called Try This at Home. Not a sales pitch, because I don't think you can get it anymore. Maybe I've got some, I don't know. But and we recorded it at Pete's studio down in Mersey, Pete Banks' studio. So yeah, so good stuff. And actually, if you are interested, and not to break the mood or anything, but if you have a look at the blurb underneath this YouTube video, you'll see that there is a link to the shop if you want to buy any CDs and stuff. It all helps in these times to be able to sell things, and there's also a tip jar if you'd like. If you want to, you don't have to. If you want to, that would be lovely. And I have also, this is like the commercial break. Let's do this commercial break here. So today, on the download site Bandcamp, which is a site where I have a lot of my stuff, my latest single, Always Heading Home, is available to download for whatever you can afford. If you can't afford anything, just download it for free, but whatever you can afford, you can buy it from there. And Bandcamp are waiving all their fees, so the artists, to support independent artists at the moment, you can do that. So the link is, and I'll get Keita to write it up on the chat now, it's robhalligan.bandcamp.com. Okay, and that would be great if you can do that. But I mean, don't stop listening. Please don't stop listening, because it's, I can only get better now, can't it? For goodness sake. So we've gone from Larry Norman, and there is no real link to this next band because, except for the fact that Larry Norman was American, and we went to America. My dad and my family. My dad used to live in America, and so one time we went over to see my dad, and this was another band I had. I'd got their album. Bought their album, and I used to work in a car body shop, and I played this to death in this body shop. And the album was by the Res Band. It was their 20th anniversary live gig, and it was a phenomenal. It was the sort of gig that you wish you were there. The musicians, the bands, the guest musicians, all those people that they had. It was just fantastic. One of the things that really struck me about Res, apart from the fact that I like blues, I love blues, and I love the guitar work, whether it's electric or acoustic guitar stuff. Glenn Kaiser, phenomenal guitarist, and Stu Heiss, an amazing player as well. But again, there is a passion and an honesty that came across in the music, and there was one song on the album. It was called "Where Roses Grow," and it was gut-wrenching because of the honesty in it. And Glenn, in this introduction to this song, he talks about the blues, and he talks about how in the Psalms, the biggest category of Psalms are the Psalms of lament, the Psalms of blues, the Psalms of heartbreak. God knows so much what it is to have the blues, and we really need to learn the art of lament in our worship and in our song, and that isn't to bring everything down, but it is to get the balance of, this is the fullness of what we go through. And so this is another song off the album. It's called, I think it's called "Every Time It Rains." But yeah, it's a beautiful song. I've been alone, on my own, exchanging truth for a lie, pleasure for pride, hell on my side. Say what you please, else bore me to my knees. Jesus, you cried for me when I could weep no more. You died for me when I was dead in sin. You fell for me when I was nowhere then. You searched for me and you brought me home. Yeah. Why do you love me when I treat you so wrong? You give me, I give you a heartache, and you give me a song. died for me when I was dead in sin. He fell for me when I was numb within. You searched for me and you brought me home again. Lord, you cried for me when I could weep no more. You died for me when I was dead in sin. Oh, you fell for me when I was numb within. You searched for me and you brought me home again. Yeah, and there's a rawness about that kind of music that it really does. It hits you, doesn't it? It's very powerful. And like I say, I just think we need to rediscover how we do that in our everyday kind of worship, rather than just trotting off a load of the same stuff. Anyway, I wasn't going to go there, but there you have. Just go back. Want to go back to the Billy Graham rally that we went to, and me and my mate Keith. I bought the Keith Green tape, and Keith he picked up a tape by Michael Card, and at the time when we bought it, it had probably only just come out. It was interesting, completely different to Keith Green. Whereas Keith Green was the whole passion, raw emotion kind of side of things. Michael Card seemed to be a lot more measured and a lot more. There was, I think, what it is. What's interesting about the Psalm thing, the lament thing, is I've been looking into Psalms a lot recently, and particularly lament, and I typed in to Google. Good old Google knows everything. I typed in lament in worship. How do you lament in worship? And it came up with a video by Michael Card speaking about lament in worship. It was brilliant. Michael Card is very much a teacher, and that's what comes across in his songs and in his writing. There is a sense that he needs to teach in his writing. So you have Keith Green with all his emotion and all his passion and all of that. Michael Card, there's his teaching and there's his depth, and it's something that struck me listening to the album that Keith bought. It was an album called Scandalon, and I think probably the kind of songs on it that really don't get played a lot, maybe because in their teaching they don't pull any punches, and this was the title track. So this is probably going back to about 1986, I think. Seers and the prophets had foretold it long ago, that the long-awaited one would make men stumble. They were looking for a king to conquer and to kill. Who could ever thought he'd be so meek and humble? He will be the truth that will affect them one and all. A stone to make men stumble and a rock that makes them fall. Many will be broken so that he can make them whole. Many will be crushed and lose their own soul. Along the path of life there lies a stubborn scandal on, and all who come their way must be offended. To some he is a barrier, to others he's a way. For all should know the scandal I believe in. He will be the truth who will affect them one and all. A stone that makes men stumble and a rock that makes them fall. Many will be broken so that he can make them whole. Many will be crushed and lose their own soul. Seems today the scandal affects no one at all. The image we present can be stepped over. Could it be that we are like the others long ago? Will we ever learn that all who come must stumble? He will be the truth that will affect them one and all. A stone to make one stumble and a rock that makes them fall. Many will be broken so that he can make them whole. Many will be crushed and lose their own soul. He will be the truth that will affect them one and all. A stone to make men stumble and a rock that makes them fall. Many will be broken so that he can make them whole. Many will be crushed and lose their own soul. So yeah, so that's Scandalon, and like I say, you know, there was a depth of teaching in Michael Card's songs, and he's actually just put out a new album, and it's an album that it is themed around the word chesed. He wrote a book recently called Inexpressible, which is a fantastic book. All about this word, this amazing word in Hebrew, used again and again and again in the Old Testament, and he's just put out an album which I haven't heard yet, but I want to get hold of, so that'll be good. Anyway, I just want to, I guess the other big influence for me in my writing has been Rich Mullins. Now, we went to America and we met up with. It was funny actually. It was 1997, and we gone over to see my dad, and just up the road from where we were, there was a guy called Tony Loeffler. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Tony Loeffler. He was in a band called the Blue Angels, Tony Loeffler and the Blue Angels, and they had a prison ministry and blues band, and they would go into the prisons and they would play and pray with the prisoners, and Cross Rhythms at the time had been championing them, and so we realised that we were just down the road. So I don't think we actually arranged anything. We just went up there. We just gate crashed his place and his little studio and his his office and that kind of stuff. He was very gracious, really lovely bloke, and welcomed us in and showed us around, and was a bit bemused about why these guys from England had wanted to come to see his little thing. But there you go. That's how it was. It was really cool that we were kind of we had this connection through this mutual friends at Cross Rhythms, and so that was lovely. But then he said, "Man, did you hear about Rich Mullins?" You know, and I again, you know, I wasn't really plugged in to the music scene, and so I knew Rich Mullins. I knew he'd written this song, "God is an Awesome God," and I'd heard his song "Brother's Keeper" on a compilation. But apart from that, I didn't really know anything about him. But that was then my introduction into Rich's music, and I started to look into it a little bit more. I found out, I found the Songs album, and then shortly after that, a couple of years later, there was the album, the Jesus record, that was brought out with one record of him just singing into a tape recorder just before he was killed in the car crash, and the other CD was those songs then had been recorded by his band and guest vocalists and singers, and there was some amazing songs on there. And I carried on finding more and more of Rich. if you want to find out about Rich Mullins, if you want to know the story of his life, I think on YouTube you can see the film Ragamuffin, and it is a dramatized story of his life. It's very, very good. It's called Ragamuffin. I'm not sure where you'd find it on YouTube, but just search for it, and it's the Rich Mullins story. But he was very involved with Brennan Manning, who wrote the Ragamuffin Gospel. Rich was a mess. And you know, you have these heroes, the gospel heroes, that you kind of put on a pedestal and you think are amazing and everything. You know, whether it's Wesley, whether it's, I don't know, whether it's George Whitefield, whether it's Keith Green, whether it's St. Paul or whatever. You know, we gloss over so much in King David's life. David was a murderer, an adulterer and a thief, and yet he was a man after God's own heart, and we concentrate on the God's own heart bit and we forget that he was a messed up guy. Simon Peter, what a complete mess he was. Timothy, the doubting Thomas, people like that. I don't know. So many people that we see as being so perfect are all failed humans, failed Christians. Adrian Plass, love that quote of his, I'm just a failed Christian. And I think we all are. And yet, when we're honest about our failures, and when we're honest about kind of where we've come from and what we've done and what we continue to do, because actually we can't get away from it, because you know there is this all-seeing God who is always on our case, which is really annoying, isn't it? But there you go. So I just want to sing one of Richard's songs, and it's a song that it's again, Rich was very honest in his songwriting, and I think that's what gets me about all of these writers, is their honesty. Hold on just a second. So now I'm tuning guitar. Now would be a good time to go to the tip jar. No, joke. Anyway. Here we go. Jordan is waiting for me to cross through. Heart is aging, I can tell. So Lord, I'm begging for one last favor from you. Here's my heart, take it where you will. Life has shown me how we're mended and how we're torn. How it's okay to be lonely as long as you're free. Sometimes my ground was stony, sometimes it was covered up with thorns. Only you could make it what it had to be. Now that it's done, they can dress me like a pauper, they can dye me like a prince. If they lay me with my fathers, or if my ashes are scattered on the wind, when I leave I'm gonna go out like Elijah, like a whirlwind fueling chariot of fire. When I look back on the stars, it'll be like a candlelight in Central Park. And it won't break my heart to see you gone. There's been people being friendly, but they never be your friend. Sometimes this has been me to the ground. Still they can say that you can't take the things that you have here. But the Jordan is waiting, though I never seen the other side. They say you can't take the things you got here. I said, so on the road to salvation, I'll stick out my thumb and he gives me a ride. 'Cause the first thing, there's been people been talking. They said they're worried about my soul. Well, I'm here, keep on rocking till it's my time to roll. Yeah, when I leave, I'm gonna go out like Elijah, with the whirlwind to fill my chariot of fire. When I look back on the stars, it'll be like a candlelight in Central Park. And it won't break my heart to say goodbye. Hey, say goodbye. When I leave, I'm gonna go out like Elijah. Yeah. So do I want to drink? My wife is noticing that I'm getting croaky. I'll have a water, please. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else there want to drink? Leave a comment. Orders being taken. And so the thing that has affected me the most through listening to these songwriters and these guys is you have the passion and the emotion with all its mess. You have the teaching and the depth and the honesty in that, and the teaching that pulls no punches. And you have this prophetic kind of outpouring that is just trying to be worked out constantly. It isn't a "thus says the Lord" or anything like that. It is just a simple kind of thing that I think this is really, I don't know, this is really what maybe God is saying, or what God wants us to say, or something like that. You know, in Christendom today, we're kind of we're trying to raise up these worship. We don't need to train any more worship leaders. We really don't. What we need the prophets, and we need the shakers and the movers, and we need the teachers, and we need the evangelists, or whatever you want to call them. And if they're going to use music to do that like they used to, that's fine. But we don't need to be swamped with mediocre stuff. We need the depth, and we need the passion, and we need the balance in order to worship in truth, and to meet and to offer God the things that we're supposed to offer him. And so I'm really grateful, so grateful for this cup of water. Thank you. But I'm really grateful for the guys that have gone before all of us singers and songwriters and worship leaders and everything, and paved the way. And may we kind of keep their passion, and or learn something, I suppose, from their passion, and not worry about industry, or not worry about what's cool, or not worry about what's good, or not, you know what I mean, don't you? Let's go for what really pleases, and what really carries some substance and heart. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in or logging in. You log in on this, don't you? What do you do? Do you log in?
No.
You tuning. All right, you tune in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Rob's Sewing Room studio thing. I really would appreciate it if you could just, either drop by on the website, download the latest single, for whatever you can afford. Really, honestly, it doesn't matter. It's on the Bandcamp link, or go to the shop or anything like that, or simply just if you fancy leaving a donation for tonight's little show, that would be great as well. I'm gonna go and let you watch. I think my in-laws are watching the Sewing Bee tonight, so they're not here. But if they are here, just in case they are here, were they? Well, it's their 55th wedding anniversary today. Peter and Jill, 55 years married. So if anybody wants to comment and say, woo, But anyway, I'm going to leave you with this. This is a song. This is my, not later, but this is a song that came out a couple of months ago. It's called Come Take Your Place. Again, you can download it for whatever you can afford. Love it if you did that. It's going to be on the next album, which you can pre-order with a load of stuff, including hats, travel mugs, badges, all the works. So thank you so much, and here we go. Oh, and if you don't like me on Facebook, like me, Halligan Music, Facebook. Thank you. Here we go. This journey is long and the path can be hard on your feet. Beyond the horizon are promises that you can't reach, and the hills are ablaze with the sunlight that's out of your reach. Oh, you're not alone. Yeah, you're not alone. So come take your place at the table. Come and let go of your cares. Come break the bread, yes, come raise a glass. Oh, come for your place is prepared. You'll find a door that's wide open. You'll find a shelter from the storm. And you'll find a heart that's as wide as the sky welcomes you into the warm. The sun brings you memories of brighter days, and the trees whisper secrets passed on by the cold winds of change. When daylight is fading and home can seem so far away, oh, you're not alone. You're not alone. So come take your place at the table. Come and let go of your cares. Come break the bread, yes, come raise a glass. Oh, come for your place is prepared. You'll find a door that's wide open. You'll find a shelter from the storm. You'll find a heart that's as wide as the sky that welcomes you into the war. So take off your hat, put it down as you come through the door. Take the weight off your feet, pull a chair up and enjoy the warmth. My daughter is telling me to take off my hat. I cannot take off my hat because I have what is known as lockdown hair. Oh yeah. And you don't want to see lockdown hair. Anyway, I like this hat. As we share our stories and places we've all been before, oh, you're not alone. No, you're not alone. So come take your place at the table. Come and let go of your cares. Come break the bread and come raise a glass. Oh yes, come for your place is prepared. And you'll find a door that's wide open. You'll find a shelter from storm. You'll find a heart that's as wide as the sky, welcomes you into the world. Thank you very much. No, I'm not growing my hair long again, Heather, just to let you know. But thanks for coming. Broad's Cruise. Wow. Have you got a boat? Can we come on your boat? Can we come and play a gig on your boat, Broad's Cruise? That would be so good, don't you think, Keats? We could go and do that, couldn't we? Who else is there? Oh, cheers, Darren. That's lovely. Yeah, I hope it worked all right. And it was a little bit jittery at the beginning, wasn't it, with all the streaming? But sorry about that. Lockdown the hair can't be as bad as the hair you had when we first... Well, thank you very much, John Howie. Yeah, you need to put a big tip. Hey, Danny and Carol. Oh, lovely that you're here, guys. I really hope you're well and staying safe and everything. And next time we get to Switzerland, we'll come and see you. It'd be lovely to see you. Darren Bovis caught one more of yours. I don't know. If there's more comments about one more of yours, I should do one more of yours. But there you go. I'm a big fan of Rob's long hair. Yeah, thanks, Heather. Oh dear. There we go. Who else is saying things? Thank Halligan family. Great. Yes. A big round of applause for Nikita Halligan as well, who's been, sitting there acting like she's knows what she's doing. Caught the second half. Hi, Mike. Where were you? Goodness me. But stay safe and on one more, please. More. I agree, John. Who are you agreeing? Don't. One more of yours. One more. Not as long as Larry Norman's. So that's very true. Not as long as Larry Norman's was. Okay, let's do. It's quite funny, isn't it? Ruth Gorry, I enjoyed the backdrop. Thanks, Rod. I never get tired of hearing Ruth. You say the loveliest things. Okay, I'm gonna sing one more. Where can they donate? So, on this video, on this YouTube video, in the what do you call it? In the in the description, there's a little drop down arrow. So that you can see all of the description, and in there there is a link that says a tip jar, and it will take you to the a PayPal tip jar. And if you can't find that, if you go onto my website, onto any page apart from the first page, in the right hand column on the website, there is a donate button. You can do it there. That would be lovely if you could. Thank you very much. Keats, what shall I sing? One more song. Request. First one that comes on, I'll sing. Thank you. Encore. One more. Yes, first one that comes on. Look, Broad's Cruise. I want to know if you've got a boat that we can come and play on. I don't know who you are, but I want to know. One more. One from the Psalms Project. Okay. Psalms Project. Let's do this one. This is Psalm 29. Psalm 29 for you. Ascribe to the Lord, oh heavenly beings. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory of his name, and worship in holy array. And all in the temple cry, glory. All in the temple cry, glory. All in the temple cry, glory. Glory to the Lamb who sits on the throne. The voice of the Lord is powerful. His voice is full of majesty. His voice comes forth like flames of fire. The God of glory thunders. And all in the temple cry, glory. All in the temple cry, glory. All in the temple cry, glory. Glory to the Lamb who sits on the throne. The voice of the Lord is powerful. His voice is full of majesty. Lord, give strength to his people. The Lord bless his people with peace. And all in the temple cry, glory. All in the temple cry, glory. All in the temple cry, glory. Glory to the Lamb who sits on the throne. All in the temple cry, glory. All in the temple cry, glory. All in the temple cry, glory. Glory to the Lamb who sits on the throne. Thank you very much. It's not a very big boat. Okay. I get the hint. You know what is. Thanks everybody. And we'll do this again maybe a couple of weeks or whatever. But you stay here, carry on chatting amongst yourself. But it's been great to have you. Thank you. I could stand up and bow.